defense exercise video presentation. This video presentation is a criminal justice class on how to defend or prosecute a suspect in a horrific crime. My name is Courtney Northern. I will be on the side of the defense and show you how to go about a criminal trial when being a defense attorney. I will obviously be pursuing the verdict of not guilty for the charges involving grand theft, auto, and involving the deaths of 3 children and 2 others in critical condition. I will talk about the 4 different categories that go along with the trial. First off, the actual case. In Philadelphia, 2 men carjacked a woman at gunpoint and forced her into the back seat of her Toyota 4Runner. They spun out of control only a mile away and crashed into a family selling fruit for their church. The children, 7, 10, and 15, were all killed, and the 34-year-old mother and the 45-year-old carjacking victim are still in critical conditions. For my 2 clients, this is a terrible thing to be accused of, and I'll explain what should be done in the trial. First off, in the jury selection. Who is the ideal juror to help your client beat charges and why? During the trial, there is a process called voir dire, which means to speak the truth. During the preliminary stages of a case, there are prospect jurors that the defense and prosecution question to see if they want them on the jury. So this is the time to pick your ideal jurors. Your first one would be a non-religious, just because they are willing to sell fruit for church. Obviously, they were religious, so a religion juror will emphasize with victims in the same religion. Non-married with no children. A person with a child will emphasize for the 3 children that were murdered and emphasize towards them. And then a young male, because you need to limit the female jurors as they may have children or more emotional towards the victims. Now next we will go to opening statements. Now for the defense, the responsibility is to provide evidence your client is not guilty of murder. Opening statements need to be strong to start off by showing the jury that the defendants are innocent. My opening statement would say, the things that were committed on that day were terrible and a tragedy. My clients are accused of carjacking a woman at gunpoint and being reliable of the deaths of 3 children as a result of the vehicle spinning out of control. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the victim of the carjacking cannot come up with a composite drawing of the perpetrator, let alone my clients. My clients are victims of mistaken identity, and I will explain how it will be determined, and they are innocent and their lack of guilt will be thoroughly covered throughout this trial. The only responsible moral outcome will be to find the defendants not guilty. So after the opening statements, we will move to witness testimony. Now on this one, it would say, would you call any witnesses? If so, who and why? What questions would you ask them? I would call a witness that is a friend of my clients to uphold their character in society. This will help show that my clients aren't able to commit these acts. The question I would ask is, what do you think of my clients in society? I would also ask a witness from the crash site. If an accident happens so abruptly, then they must not have gotten a good look at the people that were driving the car and fleeing the scene. So it will discredit the witness. The questions I would ask: is the people that you saw standing in the courtroom, or are my clients the people that you saw in the courtroom? Did you get a good look at them? Which they probably didn't, because it ended so abruptly and they weren't expecting it. Also, what questions would you ask during cross-examination? During cross-examination, you need to discredit the witness. Discrediting the witness gives reasonable doubt to the jury. The jury will then be doubtful in their deliberation on a verdict. And that's what type of questions I would ask during cross-examination. Lastly, closing arguments. The closing argument needs to be strong, finally, because that is the last thing the jury hears before a deliberate verdict. The closing statement is really important because it's the last thing you're going to say, and you can't have the jury going in not knowing what they're going to, not like siding with the prosecution. Now, things I would say is, these crimes are terrible and very sad, and I very emphasize with the family of the victims. But I need for you to look at the facts, and especially the lack of evidence, and to be just and fair by returning a verdict of not guilty. It is very sad about the victims, and I feel terrible for their families. However, these two men are not guilty and are accused of crimes that they did not commit. It is just a case of a mistaken identity. As a defense attorney, I would not want to send two innocent men to jail. And it's my ethical and moral duty to help people that are not innocent, or that are innocent, and I want to help them, and it's a thing that should be done. Now, I would hope that the prosecution and the jury after the case would realize that they are not guilty and should be set free. And this is my video presentation and how to defend a case. Thank you.